Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Rob Tracz. He is a coach, speaker, founder of Prime Performance Coaching, and also a podcast host. Welcome to the show, Rob.
Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to having me on. I feel honored to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show, Rob. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll be talking about the secrets to thriving as an entrepreneur that we learn from you. Uh, and but before that, Rob, let's learn a bit about your journey so that people can learn a bit more about you, can learn a bit from your journey itself.
Sure. Yeah. My background's actually in strength and conditioning. Um, I was a I was a coach to many different level athletes, both very high professional, semi-professional, down to youth athletes. And I had begun working in the private sector. And working in the private sector allowed me to gave me the freedom to kind of taste the entrepreneurial world where I was able to control my schedule. And with that control and freedom, I quickly scaled up my book of clients to the point where I was working 10 to 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And I maintained that workload for about 3 years or so. And it wasn't until one Friday afternoon, I was sitting alone in my apartment and I was trying to fill my schedule for the weekend. See, it was a holiday weekend. A lot of people were getting together with family, getting together with friends, and they were spending time together, having fun and enjoying the weekend. Whereas I was home by myself in my cold, dark apartment, and I was frantically trying to fill my schedule. I was filling it because a full schedule to me was a distraction from what my life had really become. And when I was denied that full schedule, it opened up a little bit of a window for me to reflect on what my Friday nights had actually become, what my life really became. And in that time, I realized that I had lost out on a lot of my friends, a lot of my family, and a lot of important events and situations that I'll never get back actually. So in that moment there, that's where the prime performance coaching was born. And that's where I really shifted my focus from just just paying attention to performance and athletes into more of the entrepreneurial world. So helping other aspiring entrepreneurs kind of build and grow their lives so that they can live that dream entrepreneurial lifestyle that a lot of people kind of get into the whole industry in the beginning for.
Right, right, Rob. So I want to understand then, should an entrepreneur, shouldn't they be prepared for, as they say, it's lonely at the top? That's why they call it the corner room. I don't know whether it is for them to reflect or to feel away from all the hustle and bustle. But shouldn't entrepreneurs be prepared for this journey? We can call it a lonely journey. Sometimes people say it's a journey with lots of money. How should then entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, look at this whole entrepreneurial journey for themselves? Should they consider it purely from the numbers point of view, or also from the point of view of the life you once lived, and then out of which the prime performance coaching was born?
Yeah, it's really gonna depend on the individual and their journey, because everybody's different. Everybody gets into building their own business. They get into the industry that they're in for various different reasons. And if you're someone who's going in just purely to make money and just to grow and sell products, then yeah, that's going to be a lonely journey. But on the other side, there are a lot of individuals who start businesses and they get into this entrepreneurial lifestyle because they want to create more of an impact. They want to connect with other individuals. They want to leave the world a better place. And in order to do that, you need to connect and you need to grow yourself, but also with others. And you should get when you get into this kind of a world, you should expect there to be challenges and you should be prepared to have those ups and downs. But not everybody starts the journey at the same level, nor do they have the resilience right off the bat to handle a lot of the ups and downs. That's why for me, my coaching, the first principle is really about challenging yourself consistently, but then also making sure that you don't over challenge yourself. Because I believe, like diamonds, you can craft yourself to shine and look good and be strong and be resilient. And like diamonds, requires immense amount of pressure, force, and heat. So if you look at the pressure and the force kind of as one kind of category, I teach that with individuals by instilling a form of physical challenge, whether that's going to the gym, that's getting out walking more, that's joining different sporting teams, really pushing your body to kind of grow and building it stronger. So you can handle those long hours, those long days, those long work sprint seasons in the business. But at the same time, like diamonds are being formed, it requires an immense amount of heat. So if we look at the heat challenge as something that's pushing you cognitively or mentally, learning new things, if you're open to taking on new hobbies and challenges in that kind of world, the more advanced and stronger you become mentally and cognitively, that's that heat portion. So when you're both mentally strong and physically strong, that's when you can shine like a diamond. And then you know you've got that resiliency to kind of carry you through the entrepreneurial world.
Wonderful, wonderful, Rob. Now let's understand it better.
Mhm.
You help driven entrepreneurs break through stagnation to achieve holistic success. What does driven entrepreneur mean here? And driven for what? Many people talk about, to achieve something big. And nowadays there is whole this world of talking about, purpose. Does driven include purpose? Does driven exclude purpose? Help us understand this driven word for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of default back to my quick answer on that last one, where it's going to really depend on the individual themselves. Um, if they do have the purpose for more, if they have the purpose just for the financial income, as long as they have something burning in them where they're striving for more. A lot of the times, the people that I work with and work well with are those who know that they're destined for more, that they know they're so close, but they're kind of stuck because they're doing a lot. They think they're doing everything that they need to be doing, but they fail to see the results that they're expecting. And more times than not, it tends to be one or two little things that can be fixed by looking at some of the principles that I coach through, whether that's one-on-one communication skills, asking for referrals, or maybe their life is just so chaotic with doing different things that they lack the inefficiency to really gain that traction to move themselves forward. There's also your intentions, the resilience that we've already kind of talked to, but then also, you have to be able to create your own luck a little bit. You've got to make sure that whatever you're putting in and whatever you're preparing for is moving you forward. Then you need to know, how can you open those doors of opportunity? Because if you're doing everything right and opportunity doesn't seem to come knocking, then there's something in the cog of the machine that's a little off. And it's up to us to work together, shine some awareness on what's going on currently, and really figuring out where we need to move and what we need to improve on to make sure that we are getting to that next level. We're breaking through that stagnation. Because there's nothing more frustrating than stuck on that hamster wheel when you're burning yourself to the bone and you're pushing, 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 but you're not seeing the results that you know you should be getting.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about how entrepreneurs can look good, feel good, and do great things. Are these all things possible at the same time, or will they be possible at different points in time for an entrepreneur?
Yeah, it's again, it's going to depend on where you're coming into the whole cycle of things. The dream would be to maximize so you are looking good, you're feeling good, and you're also achieving great things. But if you're starting out in the beginning and you don't know where to begin and you don't know where you should be directing your attention and focus to, that's where I get us in. I get us in with looking good first, because once you look good, then you can start to feel good. And when you're feeling good, then you can really achieve and do great things. So, what does that mean, though? That's probably what you're asking. When you look good, you physically and mentally feel strong, and you can handle those different ups and downs with that resilience that I was talking about. So, starting us off by building that resilience and then pairing with our intentionality. So, what are we consuming? Is it fueling us to move us forward, or is it slowing us down and leaving us sluggish? And in terms of consuming, I don't just mean the meals that you're eating and the nutrition. I also talk about the media. So, what kind of books are you reading? What kind of television shows are you watching? What kind of music are you listening to? Is it helping you move you forward, or is it slowing you down and creating more distractions? Once you have that kind of down, then we can graduate you from the looking good into the feeling good. And in order to feel good, you really got to understand who you are as an individual, where you want to go to, and what is it that you need to do to get to that stage. So when we take that time to truly authentically understand ourselves, then we can really understand what we can achieve. Then from there, it's just optimizing our habits, what I like to say are rules and routines. So the habits that you do on a daily basis paired with our schedules to make sure that we're moving efficiently and as optimized as you can. From there, then now you're looking good and you're feeling good. Now we can finally start to do some great things. And in order to do great things, like I hinted earlier, we've got to surround ourselves with some great people. So, what does our social circle look like? Who's our mentors? Who's our captains in our lives that we can kind of lean on? And who's the crowd that we hang out with most? Once you figure out those people and align them with where you want to go, we work on our communication and social agility skills so that we can continue to show up and learn a little bit about influence tactics and how do we continue to grow in that communication realm. Then from there, now it's back into that opportunity category of creating our own luck and figuring out ways that we can knock on all those different doors. And just from there, it's just kind of keep growing and scaling because then we've officially started doing great things.
Absolutely great things. So, uh, when do you come in your client's life? What is it that they come to you for? What are their questions? How do you help them? I want to understand things from a bit of the ground.
Yeah, yeah. So people come to me from different stages. For example, I have recently been working with a couple fitness coaches who decided to leave their commercial gym and create their own business and get rolling. So for them, it's those earlier stages. They've got that physical training down, but it's also time for us to start working on our mental training, making sure that they're constantly learning and growing so that their business can learn and grow as well, and really figuring out who they are, who they're going to help, and what kind of impact do they really want to leave. Because if they're just in it just to collect a couple paychecks, then they might be satisfied with just picking up a few extra clients on their own. Whereas others are looking to kind of grow and build, such as one client of mine who's a bookkeeper. She's trying to grow and expand her business, and she's trying to grow and expand her team. So she's on a different stage. She's now into the kind of doing great things kind of category where she needs to work on her communication within her with her team, but then also outwardly facing to new clients, to bringing in new leads. So it really depends again on who the individual is, what kind of questions do they have, what kind of walls have they been running into that's holding them back from moving on to that next level. And once we kind of dig a little bit deeper into it, we can figure out, hey, it's not that complicated. There's just a few things we might need to change. There's a couple different exercises that we can go through to really help us elevate and get to that next stage.
Right, right. And so elevate to the next stage. So let's talk about elevating. You talk about six principles to elevate your business and life. Help us with that so that people can follow this as step by step and elevate their life.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to go right back to where I was saying before. So we got that look good, feel good, and do great things. So getting in there in the beginning, the first two principles under building resilience and establishing your intentionality for the things that you're consuming, both meals and media. So when you're looking good and you're challenging yourself and you're consuming the right types of content and meals, then you move into the next two principles, which is going to be about clarity, figuring out who you are. I like to use a framework that I created called flying your pirate's flag, figuring out exactly who it is that you are. What are your foundational values? What are your lifestyle traits that make you unique? Where are your aspirations taking you? And what are your growth opportunities to help you level up? Once you've gained that clarity, we move to principle number 4, which is all about efficiency and optimizing your rules and your routines so that your day reflects what you want to achieve. And once we got all of that down, now we're getting into principle 6, which is that social circle. So understanding who's your crowd, who are your coaches, and who are your captains that you can rely on. And then building your social agility so you can bob and weave in different conversations and navigate the power dynamics and influence tactics that you see in business every day. And once you've got all that prepared, you finally move into principle number 6, which is creating your own luck. We've done all the preparation before with the first 5 principles, and now it's time for that opportunity. Because to me, luck is really just when preparation meets opportunity. So now it's figuring out which doors to knock on. What kind of charity events are you participating in? Who are you leaving your impact with? And then from there, it's just unlocking each door as it goes, and then it's growing and scaling.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is much to learn from you, Rob, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to learn from you. In fact, they can learn a lot from your podcast. You are the host of the Surviving the Side Hustle podcast. Why did you name it Surviving the Side Hustle? And then I like this name. Help us understand that title.
Yeah, a lot of people get into the entrepreneurial world with the side hustle. And once they grow and put their hobby and it becomes a bigger time consumption in their lives, that side hustle becomes a bigger job. So a lot of people dive into that. They leave their previous job behind and they dive into the side hustle, which now becomes their main hustle. And what they fail to do is they fail to change it from a job into a business. So what they leave one job for another, and then they begin to build that resentment, and then they start to struggle through that, and they get stuck in that stagnation. So in order to survive that side hustle, I try to share with everybody these tips and tricks that have helped me and a lot of my clients build and scale to the next level and bring that to a broader audience. So surviving the side hustle is really just about optimizing and growing and taking yourself and those around you to the next level.
Absolutely. As I said, there is much to learn from you, and a lot of people would like to learn from you, learn about uh, foundation, prime performance coaching, and everything that you offer. So, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
The easiest way to connect with me would be on social media, just at Rob Tracz on pretty much every platform. Instagram and LinkedIn are where I'm usually hanging out the most and easiest to connect with. But if you're somebody who's interested in figuring out where you're at, what I would do is I would go to survivingthesidehustle.com/assessment. Take this quick little free tool where it helps you quantify where you're currently at and different areas in those 6 principles on where you score the highest and where you might need the most results. So feel free to reach out to me on any of the social platforms, or I think I sent a Calendly link if anybody wants to have a quick chat, or using that assessment to really bring some of that awareness to yourself.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.